Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. Today we're talking about the legendary battleship Ohio. Now, I did get this on the day that it came out, but I wanted to play it more because I kind of have different opinions than everybody else does on this ship. I do like it. We'll talk more about it in the match. But for builds, we're going to go right to the build right away. I use Azure Lane, New Jersey. Honestly, it's just one of the first commanders I ever got in the game, and I really like it a lot. Now, I don't have a meme build on it, but if you didn't have that, you could use Sims with, which honestly is a good alternative, really. I mean, they're pretty equal. My play style in American battleships at high tier suits me a little bit better to have Azure Lane, New Jersey. We'll talk about that in a second. So base trait of health, which is nice. And then you could go with flammable cannoneer, gyrating drill bits, marksmanship, and reaching out XXL with fighting fire with fire. Now, the build I use is New Jersey, and I don't have like a meme build on it. I actually just use her straight up, and there's a few reasons. Now, if you use New Jersey, you're going to give up, I think it's 3% dispersion off of Sims in comparison to her, and I think a little bit of health, right? Like 1,000 health. But in return for that, you get this really cool base trait where anything over 10 kilometers, you get 5% more damage. And it's actually a good trait to use on other stuff if you do want. And this other one right here, which is more 15% more to citadels and main battery dispersion. That's not as good as marksmanship on dispersion, but the citadel hits when you citadel stuff with stuff when you have New Jersey as your captain, it is really incredible. Also, the other perk that I do actually like is even though the control party duration goes down, because you have boosters and now Brisbane Banes and other fire starters at this legendary tier. This really does help for me, and I do like it quite a bit. With fighting with fire. On inspirations, you could use Cunningham or Scharnhorst. I use Scharnhorst because I'm pretty big on dispersion for the most part. And the American battleships do not have the best reload, so I do have D. Ravel on this as well. Even though this ship, you could switch that out for Cunningham if you wanted to, just to help a little bit with the grouping. But anyway, guys, that is the build for that. Now for a combat loadout, I took the spotter planes over the secondaries. You can build this ship two ways. You can actually build this a secondary ship, and I think they get up to like 10-9 or something on secondaries. For me, it's just not a ideal build. Like at legendary tier, 10 kilometers. I mean, everybody kind of plays more at range at legendary tier. So, I mean, it is what it is. But it does have good and solid secondaries, as you will see. In my upgrade slot, I actually, because there's no, we don't have the dispersion option here, I did go with the secondary firing range instead of the turret traverse, because you will see that the secondaries are pretty accurate in this ship, and they do come in handy. Then for the second mod, I take steering gears. Third one, I take concealment mod 2. If you're doing a secondary build, you could almost do this target acquisitions just for the torpedoes and the guaranteed acquisition of other ships close in. And for the last slot, I take artillery plotting room 2 for the main battery dispersion. And this ship does like that quite a bit. Without it, that if you go with something mounts like with your secondary battery reload time, or if you're going with AA, you will notice that this ship loses accuracy quite a little bit. So with specs, 96,000 health, which is very good. Uh, the main guns is you have the four 18-inch guns. This is a Montana just with 18-inch double turrets instead of the 16-inch triple turrets. With that being said, reload is pretty good on it, and the 180 time is very, very good on it. I think that's one thing people don't realize is this thing turns its guns pretty quick. That's why I don't take the turret traverse. You could get that down to like 21 or 22 if you wanted, if you did take the traverse mod as well. The HE in this thing is awful, 6,000 damage. But the AP is amazing. It's an American battleship. You should never be using HE. Honestly, even with how much better the AP is, overpins are almost better than HE on even destroyers. It's an American battleship. I really don't really have to explain that. It's pretty solid. Maneuverability, it is on the slow side, and this thing makes a giant turn. This is not a Indy car by any means, but it could be worse, I guess. Concealment 13.8. Again, it's a battleship. You're not gonna sneak up on any dead horse with this thing. Uh, Statistics you can see. Even though I've had this ship since the day it came out, I played a lot in AI, a little bit to get used to it. And my first standard match, I lost because I was trying to do the secondary build on it. And the secondary build, to me, I'm not a secondary build guy. And this ship is a good example where I would rather go with this, the one secondary mod, give it a little bit extra, because you'll see in the specs, with this build the way I have it, it is 8.4. So if a destroyer tries to get fancy, I mean, it's you're gonna get some shots off on it. But back to stats, average 100,000 damage. That would have been a lot better without that secondary game, because I just didn't do much in that. Potential damage 1.1 million, which is decent. Like you want that over a million in a battleship. And you can see my other stats in it if you would like. Armor. This is again like the Montana, where it is a really big benefit, and it does have a negative. Now the bow and stern are 32 millimeters, so only Musashi and Yamato, I think, currently can go through the bow, so it's pretty solid that way. It has a torpedo protection there, but this is where it really. Let me get on the. Oh, there we go. The armor belt, 409 armor belt, guys, and I'm pretty sure I'm not super perfect on stats yet, but I think that's the highest in the game. I think this and Montana have the thickest armor belt on the side. That doesn't mean you drive broadside. You sail broadside, because you'll get eliminated real quick. But if you're angled with the bow on this thing and the sides, the armor belt in particular, you angle, a lot of stuff is gonna bounce. Now the problem with this thing is there's two things here. Let's take the Citadel off. It has a giant superstructure, and we'll put the Citadel back on. But the superstructure is huge. It's American, obviously that's a problem. The other thing is this is a girthy ship. She's wide, okay? And it takes a lot of plunging shells. It just does. You get eat up on health that way. It's just like the Montana. It's the one negative. And It's not like you can dodge shells in this thing super well, so keep that in mind when you're playing that you're going to eat a lot of pens. As we go ahead and check the other ships and start this battle, it is disclaimer time. This is a beginner's guide with my opinions on how to play and build this ship to help people who need help. This is not for people who think they already know everything about the game. There isn't just one way to play or build any ship. Also, I am just a above average player, not a perfect player. I make mistakes. You're gonna see some in the game. I'm sure of it. Also, I slaughter beautiful languages as good as anyone. It's almost an art form how great I am at wrecking languages. So prepare yourselves. Now, for the match, we are on Tears of the Desert, and I really do like this right flank because I feel like you can sneak up and catch people off guard. Now, this Ohio, we'll talk about the ship here a little bit. I'm guessing, because I don't really know, but I'm guessing everybody loves the crap out of this ship. Um, it's, to me, I could see why, because it's very much like the Yamato in some ways, where it is point and shoot and stuff kind of just dies. You don't have to be super accurate. It's got big guns. If they hit something, you're going to do some damage. Now, for me, and I want to be very clear, I like the ship. Do not get me wrong. Because some people are going to probably get mad. Because I'm guessing a lot of people like this ship. Even though I have a good win rate in it and you know, it's a good ship, I actually prefer the Montana because I prefer the 12 guns to the 8, and I also prefer the accuracy of the Montana. The one thing I'm not as fond about on this ship is that while in some ways it's like the Yamato and it's kind of a point and shoot, anybody can kind of play it. I feel like anyway, I really feel like a lot. This is not a hard ship to play, other than, you know, try not to be broadside. I personally feel that it is. It's like it kind of doesn't know what it is. It's not a secondary ship. And it's not really a American battleship sniper or Yamato. It's good, and it's really good at a lot of things, but I feel like it's not the best at either one of them things. And for me, I'm more of a Montana person than I am the Ohio, but I do like this ship a lot. Do not get me wrong. I like it, and I think it's a very good ship. But I'm guessing people love the crap out of this ship, and for me, I just like it a lot. You know, I think I would prefer to be probably in the Montana over this. Um, well, in fact, I know I would. But I'm using this side to push up and try. You can see we're not spotted. That destroyer was out there. We did shoot at it, even though we didn't kill it. I see a destroyer shoot it. I'm not a damage hunter. I care about winning the games. So my idea is I'm not spotted right here. I'm going to keep sneaking up, as I feel like I'm going to catch somebody off guard if I do that. Now you can see the Worcester. There's two different pronunciations for it, whether you're American or British. I always call it Worcester. So I'm not a pronunciation guy anyways, you guys know. But that thing can be super dangerous. So I would try. That guy is, you know, them ships are kind of annoying if you just let him sit out there and kill everybody. And if you'll see later, he's gonna be probably the biggest threat on his team for a long time. Now, I'm trying to sneak up. You can see I'm not spotted, and we catch this getting with its pants down, with our cruiser friend using his radar. And you will see my focus only is on that destroyer right now. You need to get rid of it, and you know that's always my main focus. Even though one thing I do want to mention, I think it's kind of funny, is the gearing is going to get murdered here by our secondaries, and that's why I like that little secondary boost. You can really do some good damage with them. They are pretty accurate, even without a secondary build. They're pretty respectable. This spotter, having 6 spotter planes I have never used all 6 spotter planes in this. I think the most I've used is like 3 or 4. Oh, I think it's pretty ridiculous that I think this and Montana, I think it's 6 spotter planes, and it's pretty ridiculous. So up here, I'll be honest, I actually didn't realize at first that the Yamato went down for a second. And then once I realized it, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and push because I want to help my other side of the team um, get crossfire on this map. And also, you catch people off guard all the time in this. And you're going to look in that Brisbane Bane is sitting there with his pants down. And if you want to see a magic trick, I can make ships disappear when they do that. Anybody can. But you want to see a magic trick? There it was. He's now a submarine. Um, that being said, that little tactic of moving up this side along them islands, you can really catch people. Now, again, the main thing I'm thinking about is the Worcester. I want to get up close and get rid of this guy, but me shooting at range, and this is why my accuracy is low in a lot of battleships, is I try to clear mountains, even though it says I can't. You never know. You can't. Sometimes it ain't right, but I'll try to shoot it because I know I'm not really at a risk of getting detected right now. I'm behind a lot of mountains. I'm trying to get into a better position. And you can see this is a very losable game. It is an even match. We had an advantage on our side once we cleaned up our side, but our other side is losing quite a bit. Now, this guy is right here. I take 2 shots because I'm thinking he's going to do some movement, and he don't. So I go ahead and shoot anyway, and then he decides to move after I wait. And here is the Montana, completely like right on broadside to him, so I gotta fix that right away. And this Montana is going to take a lot of heat from our team for a while, but you can see it's a very even matchup right now. The last thing I want to do is go full charging into everything, and I think I'm not sure if I actually finish off the. Yeah, I do get the Worcester there on a citadel, and I'm trying to be careful. I want to get behind this island. I know that the Montana doesn't have his guns. He's not focused on me, so I can disengage. I want to get a little bit farther back because I know there's another battleship somewhere, and I don't know where it is. I actually, until right here when he gets spotted, I didn't know where this guy really was. I kind of had an idea, but not having actually physically seen him, you can't really get a good read. And so I'm gonna take. You're gonna see me do this auto zoom thing. I use auto aim, and I see that his smokestacks are going a little bit, and I'm trying to see. I kept hitting the auto aim to see if he was actually moving. And it didn't seem like he was moving, but the second I fired, then he started to back up a little bit. The one issue with this thing is it's not a sniper at long range. You kind of do want to get closer in, which isn't a problem for me. But um, I'm trying to because I don't want to just go straight in to here and get murked because I don't actually the destroyer, as you can see, was kind of spotted off to the front and to the left. So I don't want to just die to torps. He could be coming towards me, and I don't know. He hadn't been spotted in a while, to my knowledge, at this point. So again, the last thing I want to do is charge, and I'm not a damage hunter. Like, I'm in a battleship. I'm trying to win the game. I'm not. You win the game with cap control and smart plays, not by how much damage you do. And right now, I'm one of the few people that can shoot at the Ohio and have a good angle at him, since he is kind of bow tanking the other part of the team. So I'm going to keep shooting at him. We get this cap, and now I'm going to kind of, I want to focus on the Ohio while staying angled to both the Ohio and the Montana. He does go dark, and now my focus kind of becomes on the Montana for a second because I should have actually placed that a little bit higher. That shot as I bounce a couple rounds as he's angled. My thought right here is if I can get the Montana focused on me, our destroyer there, you can see he sets out torps, and I think he sends out another set of torps. I want that Montana to think I'm pushing him, so he kind of just stops in the middle there and he eats all them torps. If he keeps going straight, he probably dodges them torpedoes. And I'm not in a good position to do a ton of damage to him, but them torpedoes are, as you can see. So I'm just trying to kind of get focused. And now that I see that destroyer is off to my left, I do actually want to stop, and I do not want to charge this Ohio. The last time we seen the Ohio, he had more health than I did, and I do not want to charge and lose this game. Of course, I could get a bunch of damage if I charge a Montana and Ohio right away, but I would prefer not to lose this game, as this is a very losable game yet still. As you're going to see, I think the enemy team, the destroyer, actually takes out our battleship, our other battleship. I think our other battleship's in Ohio at this point. So I use that island to stop because I don't want to go flying by, and I can make this fight on my terms. He's going to have to come to me, and we do have a destroyer here sending torps. I want to be careful. I'd hope he doesn't die as our Ohio goes down to the small one. And I don't want to get him murked. You know, we could really lose this game. It's 2v2. He doesn't have a lot of health. I have less health than the Ohio. And my thought is make this Ohio come to me. Instead of chasing him and try to get damage, we could be smart about this. And I'm trying to back up, so if my destroyer, I'm expecting him to keep moving the way he was, and I'm backing up a little bit so that when my destroyer spots him, my secondaries might have a chance to get over the mountain. Now, I didn't realize he had turned back, and I was like, you can instantly see, well, I'm going forward. And I obviously locked my secondaries on him, which doesn't really need to happen. That was just out of habit. And right now, we're not spotted, even though we're close. And I do shoot to get my rear guns and just take a shot. I should have shot higher, but I was more worried about getting out of the way here. You can see me full turn to the left because when he comes around the angle, the island, I want to be angled. And this guy has no way to angle to me being in that narrow channel. And when he comes around the corner, I want to slap him. And now that Holland has sent his torps, I really want him to get back. But even though he sent a really good set of torps and he did take some damage off of him, I do not want to see that Holland die. And as you can see, he rounds the corner. I definitely should have aimed farther ahead. He probably would have just instant died, but it doesn't really matter. He's there. And then I see the destroyer shoot from the decap, so I know where he's at. And again, we don't have a guaranteed win here. This destroyer, if he comes out, the small one comes out, torps me, and he gets in a gunfight with our destroyer. We don't have a ton of health. I have a fair amount of health, but our destroyer does not have much. So I'm thinking, I'm going to get behind this island where he's not going to see me. And if he does see me, I'm thinking he's going to come around the other side, and maybe I can catch him off guard if I have to. As you can see, if I kept going them torps, I would have definitely ate them torps. So I'm just trying to. We got this one. There's no reason to go ahead and try to get damage and lose this match for our team. And I will say our destroyer played pretty well, but he was at risk pretty closely of getting spotted a few times. So. But right here, this is basically the end of the match. As you can see, I don't ever spot him. I half expected him to see him come around this corner. And if I do, he does end up seeing me. I want it to be on my terms, where I'm catching him off guard, I guess. But anyway, not the biggest damage game, but you can see from the score, I think it was right around 3,000 base. Yeah, 4 kills. I helped my team a lot. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time, folks. Have a good one.